This series of videos is designed to assist players in learning LWRS or Bewegungskrieg. The training video is applicable to the standard version of LWRS and all reformatted versions of LWRS called Bewegungskrieg. Part 1 covers how to conduct air support. This shows the sequence of play. You can see the aircraft subphase is in the support phase, which is in turn after the movement phase and before the combat phase. There is good reason for this, because support activities are designed to support ground actions. Sending aircraft off to randomly attack enemy elements is pointless, although it is possible. Each player will have all available aircraft on their player edge ready for use. If not used, or if they fail a quality test, they are available the following game turn. If used, they return after 2 to 4 game turns from the current game turn. This represents the aircraft returning to their base, rearming, refueling and flying back. Larger aircraft take longer than smaller aircraft. This is an optional rule, as in the original LWRS, each player has a fixed number of aircraft which they could use each game turn unless that aircraft was eliminated. When using aircraft, they are first deployed, and then after deployed, a quality test is conducted to see if they actually carry out their mission. This is to reflect the random nature of aircraft support. The order this deployment and quality tests occur is significant. The order of activity is not specified in the original rules. As a result, the order that you see here is an optional rule or clarification. This chart shows the order of activity in the aircraft subphase. We will now be going over these steps in more detail. This shows the position of all elements before the aircraft subphase. The Polish battalion contains 3 elements, each of which are in cover and are entrenched. There is a Polish anti-aircraft gun within range of all the Polish elements. This is actually positioned behind the Polish battalion, not to its side, but to make it clear, I've placed it in the bottom left corner. The Germans have engaged the Polish battalion with 2 battalions. These will not be shown in the following slides for clarity, but is shown here. The aircraft support is being conducted to support this land close assault or close combat. Both players now deploy all strike, tank busting and observation aircraft flights on the playing area. As a true optional rules, players may choose to secretly record this and then place aircraft on the playing area together. However, this is not really required. In this case, only the Germans are deploying aircraft flights on the playing area. In this case, 3 dive bomber flights. For this example, they are conducting a strike mission. During step 2, both players conduct quality tests on all deployed aircraft flights. On a failure, the aircraft flight is returned to the player edge and is not available again this game turn, but it can be used in the following game turns. If a 1 is spun, the aircraft is eliminated, or 1 step is eliminated if you use the optional rules, after its mission is completed. In this case, the German aircraft flights are all quality 4, so they need a die roll of 1 to 4 to succeed. All aircraft succeed, but 1 aircraft flight will suffer 1 step loss or be eliminated in the standard rules at the end of the aircraft subphase. In step 3, both players deploy any cap flights, which are intercepting any enemy aircraft on the playing area. In this case, the Polish has deployed 2 cap intercept aircraft flights, 1 against each of the German dive bombers. In step 4, both players conduct quality tests on all deployed cap intercept aircraft. On a failure, the aircraft is returned to the player edge and is not available for use again this game turn, but it can be used in the following game turns. If a 1 was spun, the aircraft is either eliminated after its mission or it suffers a 1-step loss after its mission, depending on the rules being used. In this case, the Polish flights are quality 3, which means they require a 1 to 3 to succeed. 1 succeeds, but 1 aircraft flight fails and is returned to the Polish player edge. In step 5, both players deploy any cap which are escorting friendly aircraft. This means they can only intercept enemy cap on the playing area with this cap. In this case, the German fighter intercepts the Polish cap intercept flight. Escorts can only intercept enemy cap. They cannot be used to intercept any other type of aircraft. If no valid targets are available, they conduct no activity this game turn but are considered to have been used. Thus, they return to the game turn track after 2 to 4 game turns if using the optional rules, or returns to the player edge and is available the following game turn if using the original rules. During Step 6, both players conduct quality tests on all deployed cap escort aircraft. On a failure, the aircraft is returned to the player edge and is not available again at this game turn. On a 1, the aircraft is eliminated after its mission if using the original rules, and it only suffers 1 step loss if using the optional rules. In this case, the German flight is quality 4 and requires a result of 1 to 4 succeed, which it achieves. During Step 7, cap which are intercepting enemy cap cause the enemy aircraft to return to its base. This means cap which are intercepting other enemy aircraft cause both the enemy aircraft and itself to be removed from the playing area and placed on the game turn record chart 2 to 4 game turns from the current game if using the optional rules, or placed back on the respective player edge and available for use the following game turn if using the original rules. In this case, both aircraft are removed from the playing area and returned to the player edge or game turn record chart depending on the rules being used. During Step 8, strike and tank busting aircraft conduct their attack against their targets. In this case, each German dive bomber conducts a strike mission against the Polish battalion using 3 dice each. A result of 4 or 6 will result in a hit. The Germans achieve 1 hit with each aircraft flight. Where this hit occurs is not relevant, as it affects the entire Polish battalion. In this case, if one German dive bomber achieved 3 hits and the rest none, the result is the same as if each dive bomber achieved 1 hit each. Because the Germans achieved 2 or more hits against the Polish battalion, it is disordered. This is actually the objective of the aircraft mission, to cause disorder rather than causing casualties. However, before we count the battalion as disordered, we need to see if the Polish anti-aircraft gun manages to save the Polish infantry from any of these hits. In Step 9, the anti-aircraft weapons within range attempt to save any hits. There is a Polish medium anti-aircraft gun within range of the Polish elements, which in turn have suffered a hit. It may attempt to make a save throw against these hits. It requires a roll of 5 or 6 to save, which is reduced to 6 because of the -1 quality difference between the anti-aircraft gun and the German aircraft. It manages to save 1 hit. If playing the optional clarifications, this hit is assumed to have never occurred for disorder purposes. The flak stopped the enemy aircraft hits. In the standard rules, this is unclear. There are 2 remaining hits against the Polish battalion, which means the Polish battalion is still disordered. It is unclear when this step should occur, either before the anti-aircraft save step or afterwards. There is minimal game mechanic differences between the 2 options, so I'll place it after the anti-aircraft step. Players may choose otherwise. The Polish infantry now spins a save throw per hit, which normally requires a result of 5 or 6 to save. Because the Polish battalion is in cover, this becomes 4 to 6, and entrenched, this becomes 3 to 6. There is no quality modifiers because this is considered as indirect fire. The Polish spin 2 die and manage to save 1 hit, resulting in a final result of 1 hit or 1 loss. Suffering any losses due to aircraft attack causes the combat unit to become disordered. In addition, suffering 2 or more hits will also cause the combat unit to become disordered. While there are 2 causes, the combat unit is only disordered once because there was only a single cause, the aircraft air-to-ground attack. Unlike anti-aircraft guns, which are assumed to stop the hit, in this case a save does not stop disorder, it only stops the loss. At the conclusion of the aircraft support subphase, the German attacking force is now facing a disordered Polish battalion. Because the Polish battalion is entrenched, it was critical that the Germans managed to disorder the Polish force, otherwise it would be too difficult to break through. The trucks represent motorised infantry, still in their trucks, LWRS does not differentiate between mounted and dismounted, and these elements would be providing direct fire support to the attacking German tanks, as well as ensuring the tanks do not suffer claustrophobia. Aircraft support is all about disordering the enemy battalion, so any subsequent close assault can easily break through. This can also be achieved by artillery support or catching infantry in the open without support, where they suffer armoured shock. This concludes part 1 of my LWRS training video series. I have no idea what part 2 will be, but I'm sure it will be good. Denken Sie daran, immer für hier Heimatland zu kämpfen. Lightning War Red Storm was written by Andrew Stevenson. The current version, designed for both World War II and modern conflicts, is dated 2013. However, earlier versions were available as early as 2008. The rules use company-size elements, each consisting of 3 steps or strength points. These elements form battalions, and the basic combat unit is the battalion. The combat system uses a simple lots of D6 combat mechanism, and the sequence of play is an initiative-based movement phase system, followed by a fire phase. There is nothing revolutionary, but the package works very well. Bewegungskrieg version 1 is a reformatted version of the original rules with errata. Included are any corrections, additional numbering, updated tables, and additional cross-referencing. There is no changes to the original rules. All credits for the game design and rules go to Andrew Stevenson. Bewegungskrieg version 2 is an enhanced version of the original rules with errata. Included are any corrections, additional numbering, updated tables, and additional cross-referencing. Also included are optional rules such as terrain, weather, setup, or any other rules which fill gaps in the original rules. This version of the rules includes additional diagrams, figures, and commentary. The original rules are unchanged, but additional rules have been added to fill any gaps. Any credit for the game system and design goes to Andrew Stevenson. Allen guten Dinge gehören zu Ende.